get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want.
Hey guys, Coach Dan here. I'm an exercise and sports science degree holder. I've been a personal trainer and coach for over 10 years, and I've been training in gyms for 20 plus years, and today I'm going to take you through my push workout. This is week 4 of a fat loss phase, and this is workout 1. So we start with the week off with push, or chest, shoulders, triceps, and I'm also adding in some pull-ups here. So some things I gained from last week's training, and I think this is a cool thing you always have within training, is you can always improve and get a little bit better. Some of the things I've been thinking about surrounding training is making sure execution is really high, and I'm going to go through all that today. And I especially found that with some of my back workouts, which is in a couple days time. This isn't a back workout today, but we do have some pull-ups that we've added in today to make each rep the execution as good as possible, meaning that the stimulus you're going to get is as good as possible per rep and per set, and therefore you do less of the stuff. So if I can make it as effective as possible and have the execution as high as possible, I don't have to do as much of it. So with that in mind, we kick things off. Because this program that I'm doing, or this block of training, some of the emphasis that I have got is surrounding shoulders, especially the lateral part of my shoulders, the back, and arms. I'm going to start the workout off with a superset where we're getting some extra back workout. Now this is a push workout, but we throw some pull-ups in. So you wouldn't consider it a full upper body workout, but we are doing some pull-ups, right? So it's push with a few sets of pull-ups. So firstly, as I mentioned, lateral delts being a priority, we're going to start off with some behind the back lateral raises. I have these cuffs here, which is going to allow for me not to think or feel my grip, which I've liked a lot lately with a lot of my lateral raise variations. So what you'll do is you'll take one hand, slot it in here, take the other hand, slot it into the other one. The unusual thing here, not going to lift that much. The unusual thing here we do, or I do, should I say, is I'll step over one side of the cable, step over the other, and then kind of get into a position where my arms are going to be going out on that 45 degree angle essentially, and then we're ready to go. So it's a bit unusual for setup, but we're just pulling the arm into a different position to stretch the lateral delt out a little bit differently, and then we've got our lateral raise through that path there. That feels good. So this is done in a superset, and what I've got here is a bench set up for some pull-ups. So we're going to stand up here pretty much immediately after it. I might do that. I've got my wrist straps here for grip. I'll take the time to kind of do my set there, put my straps on, maybe jot my reps down, and then head to the pull-ups. So multiple pull-up grips here, and you can do multiple grips depending on what feels good for you. So essentially, yeah, I'll have my grips on, we'll step off, nice big stretch, drive the arms down. So as mentioned, some of the things last week surrounding execution, surrounding back exercises, was all about making sure we're pulling this arm down into the pocket essentially, or into those different positions to best feel our back and our lats. So that's something I worked on last week and felt really good, so we're going to keep in the mix this week. All right, time to build up our weight and hit this superset. And yeah, another early morning workout, so still getting in the hang of those. Let's go. Alright, moving on to our chest exercises. So, quick little note on doing supersets. They do make things feel hard. So, like, depending on the exercise selection, like, you're a bit out of breath, you're working from one thing, you get a bit hot and stuff like that. But it does save time, and it can be similarly effective for muscle growth. So, there are some times I wouldn't choose it, like big movements like squats or deadlifts or something like that, where you just absolutely gas, you're breathing too heavy. But pull-ups into lateral raise, quick little, 20 to 30 second transition, and I can get both those exercises knocked out together, saving a little bit of time. That's pretty good in my mind. All right, we move on to incline Smith machine bench press. So the incline for me for this, again, it can be different depending on your preference. So I've got it at what I think is about 30 degrees incline. My dumbbell press that I've got later is at 15 degrees, so I mix it up just to make sure I'm ticking all the boxes of focusing on different areas. It might be such that that's not an issue at all, but also why not change if you're going to do two different exercise selection like I am today. So that at 30, there is suggestion that anything above 30 degrees as far as muscle activation goes starts to become more anterior delt. I'm not like 100% convinced by that. However, I've got it at 30 because I know that does feel good for me, but the next notch up on this one is 45. Maybe I'll try that at one stage again. We're just sort of focusing on different parts. The Smith machine, the benefit of a Smith machine, allows for high amounts of stability, so you can push really hard close to failure without any risk of technique breakdown or anything like that, which in my mind is a positive thing. So the hand position and the position of bench is somewhat vital. So you'll set the hands up, so when you start to do a couple of reps, you'll start to realize like where your arm is in position, and you essentially want to be pushing directly against where the bar is coming down with you. So if you find that you've got a narrow grip like this, and it almost turns out that might not be the most efficient way, so we take a wider grip. Sometimes we'll find that people's elbows sink behind the bar like this, so if the bench is too far that way, they'll be in that position. So when you get your hand position and the position of the bench and things like that, you want to make sure the elbow is directly underneath the bar, such that we're all working together. Now I've turned the bench around to face this way, but it could be easily face in the other way. That's just for being able to see what I'm doing. All right, we've got some weight to add, and then we're on. All right, moving on to low incline dumbbell bench press. So if you did the Smith machine on the medium incline, low to medium, this one's now low incline, just to mix up, make sure we're ticking all the boxes. I think this bench is about 15 degrees. We go dumbbells for this particular one. Again, we're just mixing up the exercise selection to kind of make sure we're ticking different boxes. I think for that Smith machine, there's not a lot that beats that out. Very, very effective. Even when I go to different gyms with good equipment and stuff like that, the Smith machine's definitely always on the cards for a exercise selection. Very effective, and yeah, I do like that stability these days when training. It's probably not a absolute must, like we're doing a free weight version now, but stability just means you can go real hard with no risk. Okay, low incline dumbbell, so I'll take the dumbbells up onto the lap as smoothly as possible. Kick him back, get him into position and press. So a thing that I like to do to keep technique consistent is touch the inside head of the dumbbell to kind of the armpit chest area on the outside of the chest, and then we're pulling arms towards one another. So essentially it will hit the outside of our chest, or almost, yeah, on the edge of the arm here. Once I get to the bottom with that big stretch, then I'll think about driving the arms towards one another to make sure it is the chest, the pec itself attaches to your arm, into your clavicle, or inner third of your clavicle, sternum, and then down towards your rib cage area. So for this one, we're on the slight incline. So I'm thinking about pulling my arm up and across. The dumbbells are coming directly down against gravity, so we are essentially pushing them up. But if we want to focus on the pec, we're pulling this across towards the midline and the collarbone. All right, let's get our weights. Don't need too many warm-ups because we've already done the Smith machine, and then we're hitting it. Alright, it's popping off in here, like the kids say, getting busy, having to get some clever camera angles. So next up we have the hammer strength iso lateral shoulder press. So the unique thing about this shoulder press, which is probably against most of the things I suggest most of the time, is that as we press through with this movement, it gets harder as we go. So you think about this on this hinge, when this gets the furthest away from this hinge, that's when it's going to be the hardest, because the weight is furthest away from the fulcrum or the hinge point. So it requires, it's harder. It's essentially the moment arm is longer, so it's pulling this down harder. So at the beginning, easy, hard, well, it gets harder until that gets the furthest away. Now, normally I would suggest that that's not the most effective exercise in some circumstance, but for this gym, this one, it's easy to set up. This is not a priority muscle group for me at the moment, the anterior delt, as well as I have issues with my shoulder if I'm always trading in the stretch position too often. So with all that said, for the time being, I'm pretty happy with it. So essentially we're leaning back, press up, control the way down, press up. So I do say that, yeah, potentially the more effective exercise are the ones that are hard in the lengthened position. However, these ones always do feel quite good, quite smooth, quite joint friendly, and I'm not mad at that. So we'll keep doing it, we'll progress with it as long as we can. In other programs, I've done things like Smith machine shoulder press. On my other day, I do dumbbell shoulder press. There's a pin-loaded shoulder press here. I don't really like that. The hand position's a bit iffy, so for now it's this. And yeah, it feels good. Let's build it up. We cap off a little bit of lateral delt work with the machine lateral raise. Now, in times gone by, I haven't been massive fans of some of these machines, but this one feels pretty good, and it's easy to set up, pin loaded, bada bing, bada boom. I've got 3 sets here, I want to get them out of the way. Normally I would do my triceps first, but she's a pretty big, busy gym, so the shoulder press, which is right here, I've just come over here, get this done while it's available, and then we can go from there. So we're face in. I've got the seat up nice and high, and you think about with this, if the seat's down really low, it's almost like up by your shoulder, so you're kind of just like pushing out. I want it nice and low, so this is kind of as low on my arm as possible, making it as hard on me as possible. And we're just going to take our shoulder into that position there. Control the way down. This one allows a decent range of motion. Tap the bottom, raise up. So we're thinking about pulling using the lateral delt, the side of the shoulder into the deltoid tuberosity, pulling that towards one another. And this is just the resistance for that. So these machines are good with this because you don't have to hold on to them or anything like that. All right, let's build it up. All right, that's a wrap on the workout, guys. Didn't get much filming of my last exercise, which is the overhead tricep extension. Got one clip of that, but had to work in with someone, so couldn't get too much of that, but finish off with there. So the overhead position to get that stretch through the long head of the tricep particularly, definitely has some value. This gym has a machine where you can just sit, pull the lever down and kind of get it into position. It's really good. Otherwise, you'd have to get a cable and a rope up overhead. So, all right, a little bit of where we're up to. So we're week 4 of a fat loss phase. So had a couple of days over the weekend where, didn't eat well, was away and stuff like that. So that's kind of set us back a bit, but we kind of started out at 81.1 post-vacation, and now we're at 79 point something this morning. So all's going well there. We're just going to keep chipping away. And yeah, the goal here is towards that long runway. We can spend, 8 to 10 months just gaining weight at a gradual rate so we don't gain too much fat, gain heaps of strength and hopefully heaps of muscle. So that's kind of where we're at. As always, if you're liking the content, hit the little subscribe, watch other videos, check out how I'm doing some other stuff. I've got shorts as well. And as always, it's about progress over perfection. Coach Dan, signing off.